Hey everyone, welcome back to the most hit or miss puzzle game since Islands of Insight, Artisan of Glimmith. I mentioned that because I'm not necessarily looking forward to this. I'm looking to silverize all my windows here. That's the official word. This is the Loopy section, which has a similar rule to Bricky, which I did recently and just did not like. And that's all I really can say. I just didn't like it. I don't think it's necessarily bad design. I'm not sure how to fix it. I just don't really like it. I don't want to do a loopy and bricky thing. Let me give it. I will do this one in a minute, but I want to do one that is just loopy for a second, so I remember how this rule goes. It's been a while. There cannot be a point where exactly three borders meet, non-boxy, no regions, or rectangular. So if I do this, I have to also make that happen. No regions are rectangular. Okay, so where do I start with this? I know that whatever is going to be in this region has to then bend. That's what I do know. I wonder if this bend is super important. Oh, also, that's right. A rule with Loopy is that you can't ever have on the edge. The edge has to be one unbroken line, or one unbroken piece. Like, we have to have that go on, which means that... Can I do something like this? Yeah, but I can't have rectangular regions. So whatever is here and here, those are different. So I think we need to have this go on. Like whatever touches this, or we have it this way. What would be the... Why would I want to... I see. I get it. I get it. I can't have anything but red go into here because it's going to be a boxy region. So that's got to be that. And then the rest of these regions therefore can't be red. So I'm going to put the yellow region like so, and then get red in. Then get a nice good... no. Get a good green region in that area. And then put a blue region here. And then red gets to take over the... Oh, hold on. That's going to make exactly... Oh, dear. I guess I have to do it this way. But how would I do it? This is a little trickier. I know I can't do that, so I'd have to put a region in, and I'd have to make it non... Oh, I can just do this, right? Yeah, I can just do that. Yeah. So I remember not being a super fan of these. I'm trying to put my finger on why I'm not a super fan of these. There's puzzles I've raged at quite a bit in this, just because, you know, when I have high expectations for a game, I get really pissed off when it's not meeting them. Loopy and Bricky are something different. I don't think there's like... I don't think it is fundamentally bad design to have these rules. They do something that is way less satisfying than the other rules. Like other rules have a very clear distinction on the cells you draw, like this, whereas Loopy and Bricky require very specific restrictions on the walls, which again is just... it's not as satisfying to me. I don't know. Maybe there's people out there that are like, this is the greatest thing, and you know, it's a genre-defying thing, whatever. But it ends up being a lot of micromanaging, and I just don't like it. Loopy seems to be a little better than Bricky, maybe. I don't know. So far, I've liked the Loopy ones more. So I know these two have to be together, and those two have to be together because we can't put a wall there or there. So that's an easy start, which means this is the full three. So that's done. There can't be something there or there. We also can't have anything there or there or there. So I know that much. Now I have to have a wall here because if I don't have a wall here, I have three. Yeah, I have a loopiness violation, so I can't do that. I could bring this out, or I could just stop it. I could say this is a 2. It's not illegal to do that. This has to be a 3. This green, this. Man, color-wise, I need to get better at distinguishing these two colors. I think it's just me. Like, we've got two bluish colors, but I pretty easily can distinguish a cyan from just a regular blue. But the green and the teal sometimes are really close to me. I'm also not colorblind as far as I know, so that's not what the issue is. They just happen to be very close colors. It's not a big deal because who gives a shit what the colors are. Just interesting that those two always happen to look really close to each other. Anyway, we have to put a wall here because if we don't, we end up with a loopiness violation. We got any other spots that I can see a triple happening? I got to put a wall there. So whatever the case, we've got to have a unit here that's different, and it can stop here. That's all we know. We also know we have to have a unit there, but again, it could stop here. If it stops here, does it break anything? Oh, I see. Hold on. If we move it out, we would have to move it to the right, right? This would have to go because otherwise we would have a loopiness violation. So which one causes the problem? If I did this here, I'd have to have a separate unit. Right, I would actually have to make them all separate units. Would this be a problem? Not smart enough for the loopy rule. Haven't figured out much about the loopy rule yet. I know that this yellow and orange can't be part of the same region because it would overload the range, which means that if one of them comes out, we're going to have a loopiness violation. So we do have to block both of these. We are going to get a new unit right here. If we do this, I think we have a loopiness violation. So I think that does in fact have to be there. This would be a violation, so we got to block it. This would be a violation, so we do have to move the cyan region in. Would this be a problem, or would this be a problem? This would have to bend in, I think. Because if it didn't, we'd have that violation. But would that break things if I just made it this way? Then I would have to bring this over. And that would be fine. It doesn't really help me. Is this a violation? Or is this a violation? I'm trying to see. We can't go that way. I know that much. We'd have to go that way, but we could also just block it, as far as I'm aware. If we block it, though, we would have to have another wall. Is this blocked? If it's not blocked, what goes on here? Then I would have to bring this out. But I'm guessing now. I'm guessing, and that's not how you solve puzzles. This can't come out, can it? Yeah, that can't come out because that's a violation. So there we go. We have to then bring a wall out here because we can't have loopiness, but we can't bring a wall there. So these two are in fact the same region right here, which means the purple can't come out. There you go. Got it. This has to be walled because otherwise you have loopiness. This, don't see immediately how it would break the puzzle. Our friend over here, hold on. This has been here, sitting here the entire time. Now here, if we bring this wall up, we got to also bring that. I don't see how that's going to break anything. If I block this, I do have to send that out. If I send this out, do I run into trouble? Yes, I do, because we've got the range max of 3. There we go. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. Does this bend here? Something's got to do. Yeah, we've got to have that happen, and we can't have that, so we've got to have another set here. Now, if I said this was all the same unit, I would be in trouble, because if I ever have this, I'm really screwed. So I don't think I can do that, right? Let me show you. If I have this going on, I would have this happen. Now, how on earth would I fill these in? Any walls? Oh, this wall's fine. Oh, hold on. This wall's fine. That's how you do it. I thought I screwed myself, but that was actually just the puzzle answer. Yeah, see how, like, it just feels so micromanagey to get to all of it. Like, I'm doing a lot of just really, really minute things. And it's... I wouldn't say it's necessarily like that's wrong, because those things I did in that puzzle were logical. I was working it out the right way, and it didn't feel bad, but it just feels like a bit of a slog to get through these puzzles. Oh, Loopy and Bricky. I think this means we have to have individual things. We can never have a unit 3 units touch ever. It can only be 2, which I think means we have... Oh, this is going to be interesting. I see. So we're going to have a dead end here, or not dead end, we're going to have a single here. This corner piece, we can never have this wall, for instance, because that's Loopy. We say, aha, there's the Loopy, you can make Bricky, but we have the Bricky rule too. So we can't have 3 or 4. These are 2 border points. So this corner has got to be like this, which means it's here. But we can't bring that in, ever, so we have to do it like this. But we can't have this wall here, so that's got to go. We can't have that wall. So we have to make a loop around. Now this isn't going to work, I don't think. Oh, we have an issue here with another dead end solo piece. So we can't have a wall there. Can't have walls around it at all. This might be what we do. We can't have this be a dead end now. This is done. Or sorry, we can't have this dead end be part of the cyan piece. It's done. We have another issue there. Now this piece, not sure where the wall is. It could be here, but we're not totally 100% on that. Now we've got two walls here, so we can't have any walls extending. That's not worried about that though. Can I put the wall? Can I not put the wall there? What happens if I do that? Well, hold on. I can't put a wall here. So if this goes there, we have a problem. So we actually do block that in. And so it's a different color here. I probably should have known from the beginning we'd have a different color up here. So this can't happen. So the blue's got to move in, which means this can't be blue here. And this can't move in. So it's got to be a dead end of some kind. We can't bring that in, so we've got to have this be part of the cyan, this part of the blue. Feels like that is the answer here. Yeah, it's the only answer. I can't put a wall here because now we have that. So we definitely have this happening, which means that is happening. We can't have ever more than two walls at once. So that's not the wall. This is the wall. There. Pretty sure. Yeah, we can't have a wall here. So pretty sure we gotta have a wall like that. Not totally sure on that. But I think at this... Yeah, this has to be. Yeah, let me actually look in this sort of area. If we bring this around, I can have this guy happen. But then I can't win the puzzle from here. I could have... No, see, if I do this, I have to have that. Hold on. This, if the wall is here, this piece is new, and now we have no way to solve that. So I think we can work out that that's not what the wall is. We can't have the wall here because then we have a problem. So that goes, which means that. Which is going to put the wall there. Okay, so that is true. We can't bring this in, so now it's here. But how do we make this work? Because now we have... We would have that happen, but if we did this, we'd have that happen. Something's wrong down here. I can't see what it is. Well, let's start with this guy. If I did this here, I would have to make this happen. Which means this is a possible thing, but now how do I do this? Is it that? Yes, that. Yeah, it's just really, I'm trying to think of the word. It's not unnatural, but that's probably the closest word to it. Like, when you start the game, you know, we're doing stuff like fill in regions. And so mentally what I'm doing is I'm thinking of the cells, and I'm not necessarily thinking how the walls connect. So I think it's valid for the designer to be like, hey, well, let's look at all aspects of the puzzle. Like, not just what the cells are doing by themselves, but what are the walls doing. But, like, this is just a less interesting thing to do. Like if you were given a coloring book and instead of thinking about the colors you're choosing for the picture, you're thinking about what the lines are doing. And like while it's valid, it's certainly a much more technical and less artistic way of approaching things. So these got to be, this all has to be 1 unit. Means that's all got to be 1 unit. Means this all got to be 1 unit. I don't think there's really anything I can do about this. Is there any possible way I could think differently about this guy? Well, that's going to be here. So let's make this yellow. It's got to escape. We've got to have something here. Oh, corner piece is going to do this. This has to be red because there's no way otherwise. This has to be red. And that's got to be red. That's a corner piece. I wonder if... Oh... I can't do that because it's a Loopy and Bricky violation. Can't I'd have to have a corner here. But we're in trouble. Okay. What have I got wrong here? I know. Here, let me get rid of. There's too much color on the screen. I can't see what I'm doing. The red also. I didn't like that red. Let's take a different color. I'm going to teal again. These we know with Loopy we can't ever have a wall. Can never do a wall against the side. So you know this has to be the case. Well, this guy you can't put walls anywhere here. So all of these have to be taken and go in all places, and so do these. So that is correct. It's a question of what we do in the center. This corner piece has to be taken. This has to be done, which means this is not teal because it's going to be on the same side as another border. So I'm going to give this yellow and say that's a new thing. So that is required. Now, if this were not teal, we'd be in trouble. So this has to be teal. We can't have this happen, so we do have to bring the yellow over. Now we have to have a wall here somewhere. If it's here, the teal comes in, we're in trouble. So that's not a wall, which means there it is. So we've got it. That's walls. These are walls. So what do we do here? This can't move down, so we got to have a wall there. This can't move in, so that's a wall here. This dead end can't move that way, because then it would be... No, hold on. We can't have this happen, because we not only block in, but we have a problem. So does it go like this? If so, that's possible. The trouble is trying to get... So this corner has to be here, I think. No, it doesn't. It can be there. Hold on. So over here, this corner means we have to bring these in, which is going to put a corner here. So I think we've got to bring this through. Now, is it like this? Yeah, it's like that. Okay. Okay, we're probably going to have a similar idea. Loopy and Bricky. So I know I've got these things here. So I've got something around the edge. It's got to take all of them. That is a given for this rule set, which means I do have to take these spots. I have to take these and these. So I don't have to take that, do I? Yeah, I do have to take that one. I have to take that one. I don't have to take this one. I was thinking, why don't I just fill it all cyan? These walls is why. Anything else? So let me get a nice blue out here. This blue, does it have to extend? It doesn't have to. What if I just did that? Is that a problem? Is it? I suppose if cyan goes here, like we can't ever have a wall there. So these two have to be the same thing. So if cyan was here, we'd have to have walls like so. That doesn't break the puzzle immediately to me. Oh, hold on. This is done. This one has to be. Right? We can't put any walls around this block. So yeah, the cyan's got to be here as well as there. Those are required. So this is also a blue. I don't know if these are the same one, but we'll see. This piece can't have any blocking on either side, and then we can extend this all the way around. So we have blue all on this side. And we're going to have it here as well, which means this is, yes. And we can't have a wall here now because we're going to end up with brickiness. Maybe? Yeah, we'd end up with a problem. Yeah, we can't be doing that kind of stuff. Which means we got to have the cyan on that side. This has got to be filled in, and so is that. Okay, we got those done. This is filled in. We got that, so cyan down. That, and we should be done. Yeah. So when I see Loopy and Bricky, I get an idea of what to do. It's kind of an interesting sort of way that the rules interact to create a certain picture, and once you figure that out, that's the puzzle. But we're not going to have a lot more of those, and that's sort of the issue, is that, like, it's a trouble with any puzzle game you design. Every designer is going to run into this problem, is that if you have to teach the player how to do something in the game, you have to make sure there's plenty of opportunity, because you can't assume the player is familiar with that puzzle type. Like, this game does a pretty good job of giving us tetramino and pentamino puzzles. There's so many of them that you can eventually learn some tips and tricks about them. But I just did 3 puzzles with that particular Loopy Bricky trick. That's not very many. I think there were more in a previous video, but there's still not very many of them. If I want to learn about that puzzle type and really start to figure out the rules and how those pieces would fit together and feel comfortable solving that puzzle, I would need a lot more of them. So Loopy, we can't put anything around the edge. So I'm going to put blue here. And now the question is walls. So I think I'm just going to have 2 regions because of our rose window rule here. So this got to be yellow. These, in fact, all have to be yellow. That's got to be yellow. That's going to be how it goes. I think this is just going to be here, right? That should just be enough. Yeah. Loopy again, the wall. So this is I guess good, is that we have so many puzzles with Loopy where we have a nice rectangular frame, because we've now internalized the rule. We cannot put walls anywhere on the frame because it will always make exactly 3 borders. If the frame isn't rectangular, that's where we run into trouble. That's where the game gets a little harder. I'm going to put some red in here. Does it have to escape? There's no rule that says it does, right? Yes, there is. Rose windows is the rule, which means that's red and that's blue, right? Because if this were red, we'd have red on both sides of the border. Whereas if this, either we'd have red on both sides of the border here, we'd have blue on both sides of the border there. We can't do it. So that means red is the only other color. So we've got to have reds escape. That's got to go in this direction. It means it can't move down. So we do have an issue there. Red's got to come around, connecting that way. It can't be here, so it's got to be there. We can't bring red to this spot. We're going to create, oh, hold on. We can make brickiness. That is the thing we can do. But this creates a solo region, so I don't want to do that. Can I just do this? No, I gotta put red here as well. Will this just work? I have a question. Why wasn't the Bricky rule here? Because I also didn't do brickiness. This gets to a thing I got really fucking angry about last time. But now I'm just confused. Because, like, there's something about putting in rules for a puzzle you have to think about as a designer. It's not just the rules, but, like, what they sort of imply. Now, if the game only had 3 or 4 rules at a time, that's fine. But because this game has so many rules, the question is always... Actually, there's 2 questions. Question 1 is, why did they pick this rule? And question 2 is, why didn't they pick other rules? So I had an issue in a previous one where there was a minimum rule, said pieces can't be larger than 4, but it was very trivial to work out that all the pieces would in fact just be have an area of 4 cells large, which meant, why did they choose the rule they chose? Why didn't they choose a different rule? And here's another one. This happens to also fulfill the Bricky rule. So why didn't they choose to say Loopy and Bricky? Why did they only choose to say Loopy? Because every puzzle is supposed to have one solution, which means there is not a solution to this puzzle which has brickiness, right? Because if that were the case, then this has 2 solutions and the puzzle needs to be patched. So what is the reason for not including that other rule? The only thing I can think of is the game designers want you to think that brickiness is a possibility, even though it isn't. I don't think that's a good thing to do. Because that's the only reason to not include a rule. If a rule is not included, it is implied you are allowed to do that thing. And here, that's a red herring, but not like in an interesting way, because I was never at any point in this puzzle deceived into brickiness. Because that would have been how you want to do this. You want to do this puzzle so it looks like, instead of loopiness, I'm supposed to make a brick. I'm supposed to make a four wall. And the puzzle never led me down that path, so why wasn't the rule included? Just don't do that. I don't know. It feels like there's sometimes where the devs just think they're on this clever kick, and they're just not. Bricky Loopy. See, here we go. This is telling me something, right? It's telling me what I'm going to do with the puzzle by the rules that are chosen, and also telling me by what rules aren't chosen what else is going to go on. So I know that we've got to have at least one region like this. Now, we can have multiple, more than 2 regions. Nothing says we only have 2. But here's the thing, is like, why? So is the game trying to lead me to more than 2 regions? That is the question. This could be its own region. And in fact, if this was its own region, I think the puzzle's going to break, because we can't have a 3rd region because it will make loopiness in any direction. So if we did this, we would have to bring these over, which is going to create a problem here. Is it? No, it isn't. We're going to make a region here, and we're going to make a region there, and I think there, and I think we're good. That's all. Okay, I thought I was breaking it. See, yeah, that's how you do it. Because we have these 2 rules, but we don't have any other rules, I'm able to infer from that we're not stuck with just 2 regions. Like the previous one had rose windows, which told me the number of regions. This doesn't restrict the number of regions, and so I can think as many regions as I like as long as I keep these rules, right? So that's how you do it. That's correct. I'm glad I'm doing easy puzzles here because I'm still just not getting this. I'm just not getting this. Okay, non-rectangular means we can't use our trick from before. Boxy, though. All right. So I know these 2 have to be connected to each other. And also we're going to have to connect here and there. Now, we could have a wall. We could block this as long as we put a wall there, because we don't have a brickiness rule. Oops. So we'll start there. I know I need these 2 to connect, but I don't need these to come out. Actually, in fact, if I have this region as a 2x2 box, for instance, I'm always going to break the loopiness rule. So I think we do have to, in fact, create brickiness here. We have to do that, which is going to force something to happen. These 3 right here have to all be connected to each other, and since we have the boxy rule, we always have to do this. Now, we can't ever have a wall there. So we're going to have these 2 together. Let's make a slightly different color so it's a little more distinguished from that. We have this going on, but we can never have a wall here or there, so we do have to at least bring this down here. And we do have to have a wall here because we don't want loopiness. You know what? I like Loopy a lot more than Bricky. I feel like Loopy is a little bit easier to get for some reason. I don't know what it is, but Bricky's a lot harder for me to see. Let's make this a light. Since walls are an important thing, I need to be able to see them. And the darker the color of the cell, the harder it is to see the wall. All right, so this got to come out. If we have a wall here, we got to have one there, which is possible. Now, if we bring this out, we're really screwed because we have to have a wall there because we can't. All regions are boxy, so we do in fact have this going on. This has to be a thing because we can't have loopiness there. So down here, we definitely have to have these 2 put together. Now, if we bring this out, we have loopiness violations, so we can't do it. That is complete. Yeah, I guess it's just... I guess I'm seeing what this is doing. Yeah, this rule is more interesting than Bricky because Loopy leads to some, like, discoveries of how you're going to build your shapes, whereas Bricky is a little bit more micromanagey. This could be interesting. Now, I do have to have a wall here. There's just nothing I can do about that. I gotta have a wall there. I can't have a piece come out because then we have a loopiness violation. That's got to be a single. So these 2 definitely have to be together. and they got to stop. We got to stop it there. Is there any way this comes out? There is not, because we have a loopiness violation. So there you go. There we go. So we got another case of this going on right here. This has to be a solo piece because we carry loopiness. I'm smelling what you're stepping in here. Gotta have that, so that's gonna go. In fact, we can probably pretty easily put that together from this point. So yeah, like what I like about Loopy rule, even though it's not my favorite, is that it has a lot of implications of what you're supposed to do, which you as the player can start to understand. And so when you see a puzzle with this, rather than having to go through the minutia of counting every single fucking cell to make sure you've got it, you have some sort of laws you can follow to solve these puzzles. And if the rule makes me do the minutia every time, I hate it. I don't want that. All regions must be one of these shapes, and it's loopy. Well, right away, I see these three must be all part of one, because there's no way to have a solo piece, and also loopiness is broken. So we do have to have the T shape here. Let's make it my favorite T-shaped color. It's going to be the teal color right here. Now here, we definitely have to bring these three out like it's an elbow, but I don't think we can keep it as an elbow because we're going to have a loopiness violation. So it's actually just straight up a cross shape. This one here can't be a cross shape because we're going to have a single piece here. And we can't do it. Shape Bank says that's illegal. So we have an elbow or a T shape here. That's still not enough for me. I do need to do this. So we at least have an elbow shape here. We can't have a wall here because there's a loopiness violation. So this is what we do. Teal shape there. Now here we can't have a cross shape. We in fact cannot have a wall in either of those spaces. So we have another teal shape right there. This piece could be, in fact, we have to have a wall there. So it's at least, well, it's always at least an elbow. Could still be a T shape. Gotta have that. T shape is a problem. We can't do it. So here's our regular elbow. This piece has to be an elbow because if it's a cross, of course, the whole puzzle doesn't fit. If it's a T shape, we create orphan cells. And of course, loopiness, which is the worst thing you could do. I think this can only be an elbow here. What am I thinking? And we got to block those in. So I think we have a T shape here. Yeah, if we have just an elbow, that's loopiness violation. So T shape goes there. I think this is a cross shape here. I don't think there's anything else we can do. Can't block that. We can't block that one. So I think T and cross will solve the puzzle for us. Yeah. Yeah, see, like, okay, I'm starting to like this one. I used to not like the looping so much. It's probably because I'm pulling it from the Bricky puzzles, and I just have not liked the Bricky puzzles at all. Shape Bank. Region must be this one. This is going to be a little trickier, but it's the same idea. We have to put stuff in here. This is an option. This is an option. I don't think this is an option. I think, yeah, we got loopiness violation. Is this an option? No. Basically, we can't have this here because we can't have a wall here no matter what. So we then can't have a wall there. Let's get a lighter purple. So now we can't have walls here or here. So those are all connected. Means these are not connected. So those are all connected. So what direction am I going to go from here? We actually can't block that. So got to go up and got to go over. This one can be blocked because we can make a bricky shape. I can do this. What if I did that? What would happen to me? I don't know. Don't know immediately, but that's got to be the case. We've got to stop this from happening. None of these all have to be connected. None of them can have a wall, so they've all be connected to each other. This can't have a wall, so that L shape is defined for us. We have to put one there. None of those can be anything, and there's that. I think we have the same issue here. If we bring out this way, we're in trouble. So we do have to bring that out. We can't have either of those walls, so we have to bring it here. Brickiness has to happen because otherwise we have loopiness. Yeah, I guess if you want loopy and bricky together, you have to have a rectangle shape. Whereas if you want a loopy puzzle to do something different, you have to make it an irregular shape. That's the other thing about loopy and bricky that kind of irritates me is it it has put so many restrictions on you as a puzzle designer. Like, you just can't do so many things because loopiness and brickiness are very, very easy to create. If I block this, oops, I'd have to block that, which seems fine. This has to move out, and we can't have a wall there, so that's complete. We have this problem again. Oops. Don't want to make it one unit, just want to get nice light purple. So we got to have these happen. This has to happen. All three of these have to be its own thing. We can't have a wall here or we will die. This has to come out. We can't have a wall there. We can have a wall here. We just can't have another one. Ah, that's how that's going to go. So here we got to have a wall or we have loopiness. Can't have any walls there, but that's got to be a bricky wall. These three have to be together. There's no getting around that. That's got to be a wall, which means we can't have one there anymore. Can't have one here, so these two have to go together. We got to have a wall there now or we have a problem. So this is how this section will go. We can't have any walls here. Or sorry, we can't have one wall there. We have to have two walls. In fact, that was just what we had from those pieces. So I was thinking that's got to be a thing. We can't have a wall here, so... Well, we'd have to have two walls, but that would lead to a problem. So we can't have a wall there. These two got to be connected to each other. And these all have to be connected. And I think we've got it from here. Yeah, that's a nice... I like that. I'm liking these. I was worried coming into this one. I was worried. I was thinking I was going to hate this place because I didn't like brickiness. I wonder why this rule works so much better than Bricky. Why is that the case? All right, so right away... Okay, so I could have any number of regions of any size. That's what's going to get me here. But these four all have to be together as well as that. These have to all be together. That's as much as I know immediately. Now, I'm going to make a different color here just in case. These have to all be connected. If I do this, I would have to also connect it here, which is legal. If I connect here, though, I would have to connect like this to make the thing. So that's a guess. Now this guy, if I do this, right, I would have to also do that, which would give me a problem. Would it? I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if it gives me a problem. Well, this is a different fella here. This one has to move up. If I move left like this, I don't think there's any reconciling this because we can't have those be the same unit. So we'd have to have... Oh... No, I don't think that works. Right? I'm going to follow this train of logic a little further. I don't think it works, and here's why. So immediately we would have to separate these two because the cyan and teal regions would end up on both sides of a border. Now we can't have three separate colors here. We have a loopiness violation. So one of these two is connected. Well, this corner piece has to take this wall, which means this wall can't exist. We make this the teal region. Great. This corner, now we have to do this. So far, so good. Question, what is this color? This corner is now complete, so it's not the teal, or not the cyan. Is it the teal? No, because it's on both sides of this and we have that violation. And in fact, it can't be a new color because it's still going to come out and it's going to create two loopiness violations. Therefore, this is not how the corner piece goes, which means this is part of the yellow region, thus is all teal. All right, this has to go this way and it has to go through, right? No, it doesn't go through because we can create brickiness. We can do that. So now we can't have a wall here. This has got to be there. It means we can't have a wall there or there. Can't have a wall here, which means it can't have a wall there. Are we just going to fill the rest of this in? We're just going to fill the rest of that in. All right. Cool. That was better than expected. Solid middle of the road puzzle design in here. Amazing. Cool. Well, I'm going to take a break from that. Been a good time with the loopiness rule. Hopefully where we go to next will be even better. Yeah, we'll see. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you all in the next video. Until then, have a good day. Bye.